Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my September back garden tour. I am so late with this garden tour this month just because I had a lot of other stuff going on. I was focusing on the side yard, the secret garden, and it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. But I made it. It's still September, so let me take you around and give you a tour of my back garden in late September. So first off, I'll say today is a beautiful day. It is overcast, it is gorgeous. It just makes me want to be outside and it is feeling like fall. So hopefully with the overcast, I will be able to show you guys a little bit, the colors in my garden a little bit better, because usually it's bright, blazing hot sun with absolutely no clouds here. So this is a big difference and it's much appreciated. So first, let me show you my two zinnia beds that are looking gorgeous. They're looking so beautiful. So I planted these in the early spring and they've been going beautifully all season long. Absolutely gorgeous. And then about 6 weeks ago, Sadie and I cut these way back just so that I can kind of keep them going for a little bit longer. And you guys, look at how beautiful they look. I have a whole nother flush of blooms here and they are just so gorgeous, and I'm so happy that I cut them back. And this is just a really good reminder to me and to all of you to make sure that you trim back your plants, cut back your plants, deadhead your plants. I am not good at that. Usually I get lazy, especially when it's really hot and it's the last thing I want to do. But we came out here, Sadie and I, and we trimmed these guys back, and I am so happy. Now, some of them have decided that they're done for the season. Like this plant right here, it just finished its life cycle, basically. I don't think I deadheaded it enough. And then of course you have to think these annuals, they go through a certain life cycle. Their whole goal in life is to grow, bloom, set seed, and then die. And so you can see that's what happened to this plant right here. So it's just going through its life cycle, but these guys I was able to extend a little bit longer and they are just looking gorgeous. And I have to say, my favorite ones right now are the orange ones because they're just so perfect for this time of year. So I've been cutting these, taking them inside for, kind of like fall arrangements and stuff like that, which has been really fun. Now, the funny thing is I do have some dahlias growing. You can see over here, and they just will not quit. They just keep coming back. I chop them back and they just keep coming back. It's the same thing as these dahlias over here in this bed. I have a whole bunch of dahlias back here. And if you all remember, about 3 weeks ago, I planted some winter veggies. I did a video on Persephone days, which is the days when daylight gets below 10 hours a day. And so I planted up a whole bunch of winter veggies, and you can see in this bed, they did not grow very well. I have a couple of Swiss chard in here. What did come back was my dahlias. They're looking gorgeous right now, so I might as well let them go. So what happened was I planted these vegetables and then I left, right? I planted, I filmed my video, I watered them, I left, and I came back the next day, and about half of them got eaten by birds. And it was just like one after the other. They were just, every single time I was leaving, they were coming out and they were grabbing them. And luckily I had some extra plants that they hadn't gotten to yet. So I replaced some of the plants over here and I got out these cloches to protect them from the birds. But for some reason, the birds were all over these. They were all over the broccoli. They were all over the cabbage. They just absolutely loved it. It was the branching broccoli that they got. Oh, is that what this one was? It was this one. Oh no, black magic kale. Oh my goodness. They decimated it in like an hour. I'm not even kidding. So I was able to protect these with these cloches here, but these are all the cloches I have. They're not interested in the Swiss chard. And then I just kind of gave up on this bed over here. So I have to do a lot better. I have to get some bird netting and all that kind of stuff to deal with these birds that really like these winter vegetables. So at least I still have a bed right here, which is great. And they seem to be doing really, really well. They seem to be doing very happy. My goal for planting these is to plant them soon enough so that once it hits my Persephone days, which is around November 12th, that's the time when they'll kind of stop growing. So I needed them to be at least 75% mature by November 12th, which is why I planted them so early. And I think that they look really, really happy. We've had a couple hot days. We got up to like high 90s, and I came out here and I watered them overhead to keep them cool. And that seems to have worked out pretty well, because I mean, maybe there's a little bit of scorching on this one, but otherwise they look pretty happy. So this is an update on my cool season plants. These guys look good. These guys look terrible. They're not even there anymore, and I'm just letting the dahlias grow back. Here is my corn, and my corn is looking great, and my corn is basically about ready. I checked another ear of it the other day, and it ended up looking really good. This one, there we go, right there. It ended up looking really good, so we're gonna start picking these and having these for dinner. It's not the biggest corn. I forgot to thin them out. Look at that. I forgot to thin these out, so I could have done a better job at thinning them out. But it's just nice to have corn here this time of year. They're so beautiful. And then I'm going to let the stalks brown out and dry and use them for decorations. So I think that that'll be, it's like double duty for this guy. Hello, birthday boy. It is Monty's second birthday today. The girls have made him a little dog cake, and we are actually going to the pet store after I finish here and buying him a new toy. Yes! So happy birthday, Monty. Okay, so then coming over to this bed, this is my solarization bed. So here's what I'm doing here in this bed. I have a lot of Bermuda grass back here in these two back beds. Actually, I have a lot of Bermuda grass all over my property, honestly. But one thing that I'm trying that I learned in the same class that I learned about Persephone days, I learned about solarization and occlusion. And it's a way to deal with weeds that you have in your garden. And there's two different ways to do it, and they both involve use of plastic or tarps. And basically occlusion is when you use an opaque tarp, and basically what you're doing is you're heating up the soil underneath, and that is really good for shallow rooted weeds like grasses or things that are really kind of easy to pull out but are just kind of all over the place. Now I have Bermuda grass, and if you guys don't know about Bermuda grass, it has really, really long roots, and they dive like 3 feet down or probably more. They're so annoying. And so what I read and what I learned is that solarization is the way to go for when you have Bermuda grass, which actually lets the light in. And so basically what you're doing is you are germinating all the weed seeds that you have in there, but then as soon as they grow, they hit the plastic and they basically heat up and they basically die. So it's supposed to work better than the opaque plastic, like the tarp or something like that, but you could use either one. Now, the best time to do this would be in the heat of the summer, but I had things growing here in the heat of the summer, like in the middle of the summer, so I didn't do that. I pulled all those out, and then I ended up putting this plastic on, and so I'm just going to leave it here for, I don't know, 10 weeks or something like that, and just kind of see how it goes. Now, I went to this place called Soilborne Farms, which is in, I guess you would call, is it in Rancho Cordova or Carmichael? Basically it's in the Sacramento area, and they use this. They're a farm stand and a co-op and like a teaching farm, all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really cool place. I'm hoping to do a video there, like a video tour or something, but they use this for before they plant any of their beds, they use occlusion. They have black plastic that they use to deal with the weeds. So anyways, that's what this is. It's not the prettiest thing, but I think it's a fun experiment to see how dealing with weeds are. And I could easily pull the weeds out, right? Something I could do, but I'm trying to kind of take care of the problem at the root of the problem, literally the root of the problem. And so, so that I don't have to deal with it in the future. And so that's what this plastic is. And this is just painter's plastic. I got this in the paint aisle at Home Depot. It was really cheap. People, like painters, use it as like to protect things, you know, protect furniture and things like that. So just got a small roll of it, and I still have tons of the roll left, so I can do other beds if I want. So that's what this is. Then back here, I have some of my dahlias that I got from my friend Claudia, and I thought that they weren't going to grow, but all of a sudden they started popping up and they are looking gorgeous. Look at this one. So my dahlias this year, they were just really, really, really late. Like so late, I thought I was just going to miss out on dahlias. But here they are. They're starting to come up. They're looking really pretty, and I have more plants that I can cut on. Look at this one. Look at the coloring on this one. It's so interesting. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I have some really, really beautiful flowers that I can still cut on even this time of year. So as for my greenhouse, it's just, I don't know, I just don't use my greenhouse during the summer. It's just too hot to use during the summer. But now that it's finally starting to cool off, I'm kind of getting excited about setting it up and using it again. And I think I just need to kind of plan for that. Plan for the fact that I'm not going to use it in the summer that much, just because nothing will grow in there unless maybe I put some shade cloth up or something like that. I don't know. Well, I had my friend Raphael from Park Winters come over, and I was talking to him about how I was struggling with styling this greenhouse, and he said he would come over and help me. And if you all have seen Park Winters YouTube videos, or if you've been there, or if you've seen my videos there, you know that Raphael can make, I mean, he can make anything out of nothing. He basically takes, I don't want to call it junk because he doesn't call it junk. He basically takes stuff and he puts it together and it looks so incredibly beautiful. So he kind of started brainstorming with me. We decided to put our benches on either side. I was kind of like, oh, but they don't match. And he's telling me he loves that they don't match, that it looks more like natural and had been put together over the years. I don't know. He's just so good about it. So I have a feeling that I'm going to try and talk him into filming a video with me of designing the greenhouse and basically using the stuff that I have and maybe stuff that like we can get at like the thrift store or something like that, and basically decorating this greenhouse. So it doesn't look good right now, but I do have plans for it now that it's kind of cooling down a little bit and I can actually be in here. I have a lot of plans for it, so it's really exciting. I just noticed that my little olives have olives on it. Isn't that the cutest thing? So my moon garden is, I mean, it's beautiful. It's abundant. It's gorgeous. It's looking just so beautiful. I am thinking about what I want to kind of change for next year. I think next year I want to put more of the Gara. I think the Gara is really pretty, but just like with the Zinnias, I have to remind myself that I have to cut this Gara back. I have to trim it back because it doesn't have any blooms on it right now. I think it would look really much prettier had I trimmed it back. I think my plan is to leave all of this stuff here, leave the diamond frost euphorbia, leave the supertunias here, and see if it overwinters. I know that that's kind of a stretch. I know the Gara will overwinter, but I don't know if these will or not, but I'm going to try and I'm going to see, because that would be really, really great, because I still love that it's a moon garden back here. I think that it's beautiful. And then back here, this big pile, this is my hugel mound. It is a way that I am trying to deal with garden waste. I have a composter from Vigo. I'll show you that. It's looking great. It's doing really, really well. But of course, this is an acre garden and I have a lot of plant material to deal with. And Jason and I have been really struggling on how to deal with the plant material. We don't really want to burn it. We have organic waste bins, but they get pretty full. And of course, the 3-bin compost system is just, it's not big enough for the amount of waste we have. And it's not even cut back time. Like, it's not even garden clean out time. And this is what I'm dealing with. And I've just been making this pile just in the last couple weeks. So you can see how much garden waste that we actually go through and actually have. So anyway, I am trying this hugel mound concept. I actually learned this from Raphael, again, from Park Winters. This is how he composts. He just takes everything and he puts it in a big pile. And if he wants to plant in that area, he eventually covers it with wood chips and it all eventually breaks down. And then he literally like just plants in the hugel mound. And so that's kind of what I want to do is back here, I want this to be a big berm back here that kind of covers our well tank, and I'll just kind of wrap it around this way as time goes on, cover it with wood chips, and then start being able to plant under there. And I think that'll be a really pretty backdrop back to the left of my greenhouse. Can you guys see that? So eventually that's going to be something, that's going to be an area that I'm going to be planting in. So it solves the problem of dealing with my garden waste, right? And then it also gives me some interest and some height in this area, allows me to create a berm without actually having to bring in soil. So I think it should be cool. It's, you know, it's kind of an eyesore for a while, but I don't really care about that. Like, the rest of this area is kind of an eyesore anyway. So we're not quite there yet. So anyway, so that's what that big pile of stuff is right there. And I think it's a cool experiment, and one that you guys can come along with me. And I've seen it work at Raphael's at Park Winters, and so I know it's going to work eventually for me. All right, coming over to my Vigo beds, I have my geranium matarense that didn't bloom this year. So this is a biennial, and I had planted it last year, but it was originally in a pretty significant sized pot. So I thought that it would bloom the first year, and it didn't, unfortunately. So I got to cut this guy back. It's ready to be cut back. I'm going to leave it one more year because I want to see it bloom. I want to see it bloom. And then once it blooms, I should get tons of babies from here and be able to spread them all throughout my garden, because it really is beautiful when this thing blooms. I have my Victorian Lady Albutilon. It is going crazy. I mean, it is literally, I had a huge branch that fall off because it got too big for it. You can kind of see right here. It was right here, and that ended up falling off. This is just the happiest flowering maple I've ever had in this Vigo bed. It is just the funniest thing, and I'm just never going to move it because it's just the happiest thing. And it's flushing out with blooms right now. It's looking gorgeous. I don't do anything to it other than come in and I kind of train it up a little bit, but it is so happy. Underneath there, I ended up planting some of my romaine lettuce. This is the Sparks variety. I actually planted this last year and it was really good. Over here, I have planted, is this Sunland? Is that what it is? Yeah, Sunland variety. And then this is Thuringiensis or something like that. Thurinus. Yeah, anyway, it's romaine. It's heat tolerant romaine. And my family, of course, we love romaine. I'm trying to stretch us a little bit, and I planted all that other kale and cabbage and bok choy and all that kind of stuff. But this is what we eat like on a regular basis. Like we have a salad every night with dinner. And so it's just so fun to be able to grow it myself. Over here is my strawberry bed that I have so many runners, and they started so many new plants that I actually think I'm going to dig out the runners. I'm going to divide them. And then I actually think I'm going to plant these in another place. I think I need to plant my strawberries in another place that gets more sun. You can see I have my Chinese pistache here, and as the sun sets, this bed gets afternoon shade, and I think these strawberries need a little bit more sun. So these guys are going to move, but I have so many plants in here, so many plants. I only planted them over on that side of the bed, and they have completely stretched all the way over to here. So they are obviously very happy, but I think that they need a little bit more sun. These 3 pots over here, they were so beautiful all season long. I love them. There's unplugged white salvia. There's Tiara Blue Supertunia. What else did I have in here? Oh, I have Euphorbia that was really, really beautiful. They're gorgeous. This is probably the last time you guys are going to see them because I have plans this week to plant them up for fall, which is really fun. And I already have the plants and everything like that. So just wanted to show you guys one last look. And then over here, here's my Vigo composting system, 3-bin composting system that has been working really well. But you can see I'm kind of full right now. So I started off here and then I've turned it over to here. You can see that I got one of these composting thermometers, and you can see that my compost is active and it's working and it's doing really, really good. But this is my compost that's almost finishing. This is my second compost. I have to turn it into here, and then I can start a third compost pile right there, which is what this stuff is going to go into. But I mean, like you saw my Hugo mound was so much bigger than this, and so I need like 6 of these basically. But if you have a smaller garden than I do, this thing is really, really great, and I think it's really pretty, and it was easy to put together. So like, good reviews all around for this. I just need bigger. I did want to point out, I usually never show this area because this is kind of our junk area, but I did want to point it out because this whole past week I did a week-long project on my secret garden, and I really enjoyed that because it made me focus on one area at a time, and I spent the whole time focusing on the secret garden, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But this is, I think, the next area I want to do. This area is kind of what I want to use for plant storage. I want tables, and I want maybe even like one of those half hoop greenhouses or something like that. I don't know. I want to be able to put all my storage over here. And of course you can see we have some storage. I have some of my scrap pallet wood. We have some of our gravel. I have the pots. We have some of our extra edgerite, but I feel like we're wasting this space right here. This is our pump house for our well. I feel like we're wasting this space right here. So this is an area that I definitely want to work on and do like a week-long project. But I have to kind of think about it. I got to plan it. I got to budget everything out, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come over and show you guys this as kind of like a before. And if you have any good suggestions, I'm open to them for sure. But I definitely think I want this to be my storage area. So speaking of storage, you guys can see where I'm storing my extra plants. So if you don't know, I'm so lucky, and I get to work with Proven Winners, and they get to send me a lot of plants. And that some of them I'm just not quite ready to plant yet, or I have projects planned for them, or they need to recover a little bit, and they need to they're just not ready to go out into the garden yet. So I always end up with quite a number of plants like this. And so I made this table out of scrap wood, and you can see I painted it. It's looking really good. We have all these plants here that we have hooked up to drip, so we don't have to worry about them at all. And they're just kind of ready to go once I'm ready to start planting them. But you can see it's kind of, they're right in the middle of our driveway. So it's not the best place for them. And this tables like this is what I want to put over in that section. And I want that whole section to be like my nursery section, that I have my extra plants and things like that. So anyway, that's my plan for that. And hopefully I'll get to that, I don't know, next month maybe. But yeah, that's that. My brain is churning on this area. This is kind of the next spot that I want to attack. Okay, and then last but not least, let me take you all over to the secret garden. If you didn't watch last week's videos, go back and watch last week's videos because they were really good. It was really, really fun to focus on one area. Jason and I decided to focus on one area for 1 week and get as much done as we could in 1 week. And it really made a huge difference in this area. I just think it looks so good. So this is our secret garden, the north side of our house. It's basically our side yard. And ever since I moved into this property, I knew I wanted to make this like a secret garden and have these living walls on either side. And then you walk in and it's like this, you're taken to a whole different space, which is really fun. We changed the drip irrigation on these bower vines, and they have just taken off just in the last couple days. I swear, all of a sudden they're just going crazy, and there's so much new growth. They're really, really pretty. So this is going to cover this whole area right here. Over on the other side, I have Clematis armandii, which is really, really beautiful. We added a hedge of sprinter boxwoods from Proven Winners. They are going to be beautiful, you guys. I'm so excited about them. They're going to get, I'm probably going to keep them about 2 feet tall. I planted them 2 feet apart, so they're going to grow into each other pretty quickly. And sprinter boxwoods, which are an improved version of winter gem boxwoods, are known for growing pretty quickly, and they have beautiful upright stems, which make them really, really good for hedging. So I'm super excited about these. I think that they're going to grow together pretty quickly because I got pretty big specimens, and I just think that they're going to be beautiful. In these pots here, I have Limelight Prime hydrangeas. Someone told me to mulch in there, and thank you for telling me that. I definitely need to mulch in there. I just noticed, I think I have a leak right there. Oh, so I'll have Jason come out and deal with that. You can see that I have my false hydrangea vines growing up the wall that are just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we trim the windows, we put shutters, and we put window boxes. And in the next couple days, I'm going to be planting up those window boxes with beautiful annuals. So all in all, man, it's just looking really, really gorgeous. It's beautiful here. I've got my Dahlias in all four corners now, and I just couldn't be happier with how beautiful this area looks. And I'm so happy that we spent the time and really focused on one specific area, which is now why I want to work on the area in front of the pump house, because once that looks good and is functional, oh, I'm just gonna be so happy. All right, so that's my back garden tour for September. Again, I'm sorry this video was so last minute, but I'm glad I got it in still for September. I've been doing these back and front garden tours every single month since I started my channel almost 3 years ago. So, it's just crazy. I got to keep it up. So anyway, if you haven't checked out my September front garden tour, I will link it in the description down below. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.